Welcome to the F3 podcast,
where we talk food, football, and fantasy football.
Tonight it's week 20. Our team of the week is the Tennessee Titans, and we have more exciting news about F3 podcast at Super Bowl. We're talking about Super Bowl, what number?
60.
Yeah, that's right, in San Francisco, and we're going to talk about some of our favorite food picks for Nashville that really are going to heat up your game. I'm Chef Jonathan Fraser, and I'm here with
Erin Halschuk.
Erin, how are we doing today?
We are good. We are good. 2 weeks and counting.
Are you getting really excited?
Oh my gosh. It is like the best right now. And I know I say that every week that it's like Christmas for football fans, but the closer we get to Super Bowl, just the better it gets. This is what we live for. This is what football fans live for. And it is good. It is getting very, very good.
You know, and I'm getting a little nervous because I'm like,
I'm
not the biggest flyer, so I know we've got a couple flights ahead of us. I got to get myself ready, trying to pack up, bring all the gear, everything we're going to need because we got lots on the go.
We do.
But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about our team matchups that are coming up.
Yes. It is Super Sunday, Super pre-Super Bowl Sunday.
That's right.
It's not a thing. I just made that up.
That's right. So we've got our Seattle Seahawks versus the LA Rams.
Yes.
And of course, the Denver Broncos versus the New England Patriots.
That is right.
Now, there's some big action happening.
There absolutely is some big action. It's going to be really interesting to see. I think the whole football world has essentially given up on the Broncos now that their quarterback broke his ankle just at the end of the game last week. So, Jared Statham, you are up. I don't know. And it seemed like not a lot of people knew immediately as well. But I don't know. There's some talk about, Jared Statham, backup quarterback for the Denver Broncos. If ever there was a coach and a team that could do it, I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of chatter about that, whether, this could be the comeback to mark all comebacks. And it would be quite the impressive victory if the Broncos could pull this off. But the Patriots, even if the Broncos had their full team and they were going into it 100% as they were, I still would have given it to the Patriots because I think the Patriots just are on fire. They are very, very impressive and a great team to watch. And I would not be surprised at all if they went to the Super Bowl. And now, especially given the way that things are, I think they will certainly win that game.
You think that's a year? So who are the players on those two teams that you think you want to keep an eye on? Is there anyone?
Well, I think the Patriots quarterback, I think, Drake May, he is incredible. And that draft class, I remember from a few years ago, some of them are still kind of working things out, still hitting their stride, but he is really, really impressive. And the way that they have really developed him as a fairly young quarterback is impressed me considerably. So, again, I think they should win that game quite easily. And then for the Broncos, I mean, all eyes are on the quarterback, right? Don't believe he's played a regular season NFL game in his career. So we'll see how that goes.
You know what? Stranger things have happened.
Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
This may be his time to shine.
Yep.
So he's rested. He's ready to go.
Yep.
I'm guessing that he is reading that playbook inside and out at this
moment.
moment.
And that's the thing. And I think the biggest challenge for Sean Payton as a head coach would I don't know, and I don't have a lot of coaching experience, and especially this is an extremely unique situation to get your backup quarterback into arguably the largest and the biggest game of his life. So I don't know how you make sure that he stays out of his own head. Like, to me, how you not make the moment bigger than what it is, I that would be a challenge as a coach. I don't know, but Sean Payton, if ever there was a coach to do it, I mean, I'm not the biggest Sean Payton fan, but he is a very, very good coach. For what he did in New Orleans and now that he's with Denver, I think, if ever there was a coach to pull it off, he definitely could. But I still don't see the Broncos winning.
And so flipping on the other side, we look at the Patriots. There's a team that's been here before.
100%. But with a completely different team. That's the thing, right?
That's right.
New, different coach, different quarterback, completely different team. So it took them a couple of years to restructure, rebuild, and they're back at it.
But it'll be exciting to see.
Yeah.
So let's flip to the other game because I know this is the one that you are. This is the one that's really hurting you inside.
This is making it count.
Because you're a hardcore hardcore.
I've been a hardcore Seahawks through and through. Absolutely. I've been to the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Oh, that second Super Bowl. But I mean, yeah, I've always been a Seahawks fan and always will be a Seahawks fan. So my heart is with the Seahawks. Do they have the ability to pull off a win tomorrow or on Sunday? Yes, 100%. Will they? I can't say that with as much certainty. You know, the Rams are a very good team, and I think that Matthew Stafford will be the MVP this year. I think unquestionably he has had an extremely good year and did very well for me on fantasy, by the way. Side note, but I had him as one of my quarterbacks. You know, he's an extremely good quarterback. They've got some incredible receivers. I think they have what it takes to go all the way. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a Rams New England Super Bowl. I wouldn't love that though. I would probably be cheering for New England once in my entire life, but I could see certainly the Seahawks winning as well. I mean, they have the 12s behind them. That stadium was so incredibly loud last week, and it definitely threw the 49ers for a loop. And apparently, you know, like many teams that go into, I was almost going to say CenturyLink, but Lumen Field, they practice. They practice with noise. They practice with hand signals because you can't communicate at the line of scrimmage as you normally could as a quarterback if you want to make some audibles and things like that. So you have to find other ways to do it. And teams practice for that because, you know, Lumen Field is one of the loudest NFL stadiums in the country. So the 12s will be loud. They will be there. They may or may not affect the play. Hopefully they will. But the Rams are very much used to that because they've played in that environment many times.
Loud environment.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to say, what about Seattle? Just how they have just coming off that last game.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible.
It was like right from the very first
they just
play,
dominated
right to the end.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, there's so many comparisons to the Legion of Boom in terms of their defense, and rightfully so. Like what Mike McDonald has done, especially with their defense in 2 years, is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And, you know, big props to him and the way that he's turned that defense around. The offense, it's good. It's definitely good. I think the defense, though, is certainly what carries that team.
So that it'll depend if the Seattle defense can shut down Los Angeles.
I think so, yeah. And as long as Sam Darnold doesn't make mistakes, as long as he doesn't turn over the ball, make stupid passes, make silly plays, is a smart quarterback. You know, last game against the 49ers, he wasn't exceptional. I think the best way I could probably phrase it was that he was a very good game manager. And, you know, as a quarterback, you don't necessarily want to wear that hat. But in a situation like this, where you have such a strong defense, if you can be a game manager as a quarterback and that will get you a win, then be a game manager. You don't have to put up, you know, 400 plus, 300 plus yards. Just manage the ball, manage the game properly, don't turn it over. And I think they'll do well.
And he was hurt going into that game, if I remember.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Hopefully he might have recovered a little bit.
Hopefully, absolutely.
And actually, that's a great question. Between both games, are there any injuries that we have, other than a broken ankle, which is the biggest doom and gloom that you could ever think of?
That's exactly it. Well, and I think, too, at this point of the season, you know, bodies are broken, they're tired, they're hurting. It's been a long year. You're certainly not, your players aren't as fresh as they probably would like to be, but, you know, they're going to play injured. They're going to go into it. This is basically for everything, right? You are one game away from absolutely the championship. So even if you're sore, you're going to play at your best.
That's right. You're in there for it all.
You are.
Well, on that note, should we move on to our team of the week? Can you tell me here? Because this is a team that I'll be, other than knowing that it's in Nashville.
Yeah.
That's sort of the
well,
most
it was.
I mean,
it hasn't always been in Nashville, too. We're talking about the Tennessee Titans. And, you know, they came into the league, I believe, in the mid-50s as the Houston Oilers. So there were two professional sports teams named the Oilers, very far apart from each other. But over time, they moved from Houston over to Tennessee. And I think it was in the late 90s, 97 or 98, I believe, is when they changed over from the Houston Oilers to the Tennessee Titans. So they were the Tennessee Oilers, I believe, for a bit. And then they adapted the moniker of Titans. So Tennessee Titans, yeah, I mean, they, again, not a team I follow super close, but they certainly have been known for producing some exceptional players. And one in particular comes to mind, Mr. Warren Moon. I mean, he was incredible and led them to a very long string of playoff victories before he got traded to Minnesota. And so they can certainly lay claim to that. And then more recently, if you think about some of the incredible players, Derrick Henry is hands down one of the best, was certainly one of the best running backs in more modern NFL history for sure. And even, I think about somebody like their former head coach, Mike Vrabel, who is now still in the league coaching. He was our coach for quite some time, and I do think he is one of the better NFL coaches in the league right now. So they certainly know how to produce some really good talent. And interestingly enough, most recently, within the last week, hired Robert Saleh from the San Francisco 49ers, the defensive coordinator. So Saleh, at one point he was from San Francisco, was the DC there, then went over to the New York Jets, I believe, about 3 years ago, somewhere around there, and became their head coach for a couple of years. Maybe it was just 1 year now. And then went back to the 49ers, again, as their defensive coordinator, and then just got hired by Tennessee for their head coaching position. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Robert Saleh. I think he's a really good defensive coach. It'd be interesting to see again what he does with the offense. He didn't have a lot of luck with the Jets, but I think that was more the situation of the New York Jets and not necessarily a reflection of his coaching abilities. So I'm curious to see where he's going to take that team next year.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Well, then let's take a little bit, because we're at the end of the season.
Yes.
Let's maybe look back at this team and see what worked for them, but what really went wrong for them. How was their season? What do they need to work on for next year?
Oh yeah, so they were 3-14 this year. So let's say all aspects of the game at that point. I think bringing in a new head coach, that's really going to help look at kind of overall. Usually when you have a head coaching change, that precipitates a lot of other change, which is a good thing, and they can certainly use it.
I guess they're going to do well on the draft this year too.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they will do well on the draft. So,
or at least be able to trade up for some good players to maybe reinforce some of their weaker areas. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like I said, that's a team I really like. I don't follow closely, but would really like to see kind of how they're going to develop next year.
Build into a bigger team.
Definitely.
Right? Well, that's awesome. Anything else you want to add in about this team?
I think I'm good.
You think you're good? Well, okay. So then it's up to me now, because I'm excited, because diving into sort of the Nashville area for food, right? Like most of us think of Nashville as that music center of country music and good old times down there. But I'm thinking about, looking at some of these really like bold, unapologetic flavors, like heat forward, like comfort food with a bit of attitude is kind of where I think about when I look at Tennessee for food. And when I was kind of going through different recipes and different sort of classic dishes in there, I was trying to think of some of those, like some of the influences that happened down there, like Southern cuisine, biscuits and, barbecue and hot spices and, maybe a little cayenne and chili powder, sort of all those, as well as like nice street foods as well.
Yeah, a lot of heat.
Yeah, exactly. So when I got into it, I really started looking at a lot of my a lot of other dishes that we've got from down south, like sort of those ones. So of course, I know this one's popped up before, but a pulled pork barbecue, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, smoky, tangy, crowd friendly, whether you have it on a plate or whether you just have it stuffed into a bun, right? Like that's just a great meal.
Yeah, it's super easy tailgating food.
Oh, totally tailgating food. Some other popular, did the old 3-in-1, right? Which is usually your choice of, it's a plate, right? That's with a choice of foods on it. So it's either like a nice fried chicken or fried steak, country fried steak, barbecue pork, or maybe meatloaf, even catfish. And then you're going to pair that with a couple side things, whether that's a macaroni and cheese, some mashed potatoes, collard greens. We're going to have 3 on the plate. Maybe it's going to be a little coleslaw, fried okra, candied jams, or even green beans on there. So it's sort of that one protein with 3 on the side.
That sounds some like good, Southern cooking right there.
Yeah, I thought that was a real nice one. And then I sort of got looking at some other things, and I thought, you know what? What's another one that just pops out there? But biscuits and gravy.
Oh, yeah.
That's a classic Southern thing.
Yeah.
But as I was thinking, it's a little more breakfasty, flavor there. Of course, you think about that creamy sausage gravy on top of your biscuits, like just a great little Southern food, right? And then, of course, I was looking at another one like fried pickles.
Oh, I can get behind that.
And I knew that one you would get behind totally, because that's such a, there's nothing crispiness with a little bit of that sour pickle in the background. It just comes together. So, of course, it's got that saltiness and crunch to it that you're just like.
Anytime you could deep fry anything, it just ultimately becomes better.
Usually, you know what?
Yeah.
We are carnival people. We love carnival food. So anything with a crunch in it just has that appeal to us, whether it's a French fry or corn dog, all of those good ones.
Pick of the week or food of the week. Yep.
Our pick of the week for food, I looked at the Nashville hot chicken slider.
Oh, nice.
I was like, this is the ultimate tailgating thing. Nice little chicken. So like buttermilk marinated and double dredged fried chicken thigh. Oh, just that beautiful fried crispiness on it. And then it's going to be on the bun, right? Maybe with a nice crunchy slaw, like a nice vinegar pickle based one. Lots of tang in that. And I just thought that would be like the ultimate dish.
Don't forget the hot sauce.
And you've got the hot sauce in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've just got all of that good stuff in there. So I just think that's born in Nashville, that signature spicy fried chicken, perfect handheld for being at the game. And you're just going to be able to have a great time enjoying that one. So.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, I'm all about that. And
pickle.
Of course, it goes perfectly with any of your sides. So whether you want like a nice sweet iced tea, a nice crispy lager, and then, let's do a side of fries or some tater tot and some pickled vegetables. You're following right along with what I'm saying.
That's right.
So that was our sort of pick, and that was sort of the road I went down with that. So, of course, we're going to have a recipe up there on the website, so you can check that one out. And if you want to try it at your next tailgating party, love to hear about that. So
save me a pickle.
That's right. Let's move on a little bit.
Speaking of food, here's a little bit of a segue, or talking about not next week, because sadly, there is no football next week. It's a little bit of like the calm before the storm, the Super Bowl storm. But in 2 weeks' time.
That's correct.
We will be down in San Francisco. And speaking of food, we are certainly really excited to bring you a little bit closer to the action, because we're going to be hopefully covering a variety of tailgating parties and different events down during Super Bowl week in the lead up to Sunday's game.
You are actually going crazy with emails and connecting with people.
Yeah.
And we've got a whole bunch of really cool adventures and definitely interviews. We're going to be down in there. So I guess next week there will be no podcast.
That's right.
Following that up, because we're going to be setting up, getting ready, because we're going to be going down, doing live interviews.
Yes.
We are going to be hitting up everyone we can. So I guess we can do a little sneak peek that we
could do a little, drop a few little hints in terms of some of the people that we will be speaking to. So we will be chatting with none other than the voice of the BC Lions, the Moj.
This is so exciting to me, because I don't for me, just listening to it on the radio and listening to it, that voice is like in my brain. And
certainly.
So to meet the actual person behind that and ask him questions about what it's like to be at Super Bowl.
And he has covered his fair share of Super Bowl and Super Bowls, I should say. And so we will be chatting with him about his experience covering both NFL and CFL games and asking him really which one is better.
Well, and I love it, because I kind of laugh about it, because last year you were uploading a whole bunch of his shows and stuff for him.
Yeah, we sort of have a little bit of a connection through work, so that's really neat. And then we will hopefully be bringing some coverage from the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So that's about an hour south or so of San Francisco, and we've connected with them, hopefully to chat a little bit more about one of their programs there at the aquarium. And you've got a little bit of a connection with some of the people there, and they are very much behind an initiative to bring seafood, make a seafood very sustainable, particularly in the restaurant and the food industry.
We're talking all about ocean-wise.
Exactly.
What is acceptable, and some of the projects they've worked on. Now, I got to meet Michael, who's hopefully one of the ones we're going to chat with, at Cook's Camp up in Pemberton.
Yes.
Which was
back in September.
And we're literally on the mountain up in Pemberton, 300 chefs from across BC and a few from Alberta, and we were cooking what we wanted to cook. And it was about the chefs cooking and doing what they do on their day off and being able to connect. And so we had lots of workshops. They brought up tuna for us, ethically properly raised tuna for us, and we had Japanese chef break it down and did a whole bunch of amazing dishes for us, which was like, so I want to ask a little bit more about that tuna and how that came to be, because it's one of those things that's just incredible how that all happened.
Yeah, and they have a really neat program about it. So hopefully we had some discussions with them, and hopefully we will be setting that up as well. And we won't talk about the last couple ones, but they certainly revolve around food. So we're hoping to, within the next week, firm that up, and may have to do with a tailgating party or two.
Well, and I love this. Whenever we're down there, we always run into the strangest people at the most random times and have the most amazing times. And I'm actually looking forward to, because we always do some streeters too.
Yes.
Which we actually bring out the video camera and actually record with people and ask them their questions of what's their favorite food to eat at a game, who's the team they're going for, who are they predicting to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
So it's fun, and it's amazing the answer. And we met this guy last time who was making
he owned a bakery in Philadelphia, and he not only provided cakes to the Eagles, because some of the players said that was their favorite bakery, but he also, his claim to fame was providing cakes for Bill Clinton at the White House. Like, it was just very random.
Just an
very random,
amazing character, and actually owned the car, a hot rod that was nothing but Eagles, and drove it into the stadium for one of the big games, and was like, it was such an interesting person to
so
talk
you never
to.
know who you're going to meet.
That's right.
And so we'll be doing a lot of those, and maybe even going to Flavortown.
That's right. We'll see. It's all happening there, and I know last year was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The year before was even more incredible. So this year should be a lot of fun for us.
It should be. Yeah.
And we may bring some merch back for you. So pay attention.
A little contest or two. Yeah.
And throw out a couple of contests when we get back, for sure.
Sounds good.
All right. So, well, I guess this week we're not doing the spinny wheel, are we?
No spinny wheel, unfortunately, because we do have to take a kind of 1 week hiatus until Super Bowl comes around. But we will do a preview Super Bowl edition, which I'm really excited about once we have those two teams firmed up. And then certainly lots of recording down in San Francisco for Super Bowl 60.
So let's do a quick recap. We'll start off with food, because we're talking all about Nashville hot chicken sandwich sliders. That was the food for me, for sure.
Yes.
Even though those fried pickles were pretty exciting for you, weren't they?
They really were.
As in for our team of the week.
Yes, the Titans. Really, good team. Didn't have a great year this year. Excited to see what the future will bring, especially with the new coach, Robert Saleh.
And you know what? What I learned from this year is it changes so fast.
It does.
And it's one of the teams at the top can be at the bottom, and the bottom teams can be at the top.
Certainly.
Pretty quick. So
it's
nice to see that get passed around, and every team gets a chance at the championship.
Definitely. And then Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. All right, here we go. Who's your prediction to be two teams?
I'm going to say Patriots and Seahawks.
I think you're good on that.
All right, I like it.
All
I
right.
like the confidence.
So if Denver and Los Angeles are playing, that's going to be a bit of a shock for
Wow,
you.
that would be very interesting. Yeah, it would certainly be a shock.
Especially when you got a rookie quarterback.
Oh my
up
gosh,
against.
I can't even, I'm sure it's happened. I can't recall of a time when a rookie quarterback has played in a Super Bowl for basically his second game. I'm sure it's happened in some capacity. I don't know of it, but stranger things have certainly happened. We will see what Sunday brings.
Sundays. All right, I guess it's time for us now to get set up for getting ready for Super Bowl.
Yes, we have a week to pack up, and I'm really excited to see who we will talk to and what the week will bring when we're down there.
On that note, this has been your fix of the F3 podcast, where we talk about food,
Football,
and fantasy football.